you too?
Yeah. No
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you. And broadcast. Okay.
Are we good?
Yes.
All right. My name is Michael Harden. We're here with the Parking Authority. And the first thing is on our agenda is the public comment. Kathy, you said there are no comments.
I did not receive any comments. And
Okay.
do you have anybody calling in that has their
We
raised?
we do not have any attendees from the public
Okay.
at the moment.
Okay. So then the first thing on the agenda is the minutes of the last meeting. Anybody have any corrections, changes, or alterations before we pass the minutes through?
I think that the heading of the July 8th meeting lists me as the vice chairman, and it should be listing Eric.
Okay.
Did you get that, Di?
Yeah.
I got it.
Excellent. Good catch, Dick. I didn't even look at that. Anybody else?
No.
Can I have a motion to accept the minutes as altered?
I'll make that motion. It's Tom.
Tom makes a motion. Eric, you seconded it?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll second it.
All those opposed? All right, that passes. Good.
Aye.
Number two, and now Kathy, we went back and forth on this, but we decided to hold on it, right?
Right. So let me explain.
Well, let me read it first.
Oh, go ahead.
The number two was to approve a sum not to exceed $6,000 for the parking and roadway pavement markings installation on Washington Street between North Main Street and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But we're not gonna have that motion today. Kathy, you want to explain why?
Well, okay. So there was a request by the parking authority through Judd and Eric to see if we could temporarily install some parking spaces on West Washington Street. So originally we thought that that would be an easy thing by just having to paint the spaces and then go from there. But no, the measurements were not, George, the measurements were not wide enough to allow for safe travel way. So we had to move the center line. In order to do that, we had to take the design that we did in-house on behalf of the parking authority to the traffic authority. So we did that. Mike Yosak went and Judd went to the meeting on Monday to the traffic authority, and they were not comfortable with the travel, the 15 parking spaces, the change in the center line, and they were just not comfortable with the travel way and that it wasn't going to be safe because some people double park on the side of the post office. And then there was another concern about people coming down from Flax Hill to West Washington. There was also a conversation about that we are planning on installing the lots. We hope that this will happen. It is advancing next year. So they did say to possibly redesign it with 12 parking spaces, but we are recommending not. The lots that grant conceptual design does have 15, and we would like to continue along that in that way. So we don't feel that the parking authority should approve $6,000 for a project that may or may not happen. Additionally, the traffic authority typically does not meet in August.
And nor will we. Judd?
Yep. The mayor, my memory is the mayor did say, get back to us on this at the next traffic authority meeting or sooner. Personally, I'd like to meet with Mike Yosak and just talk about this and possibly meet directly with the mayor, maybe with Mike and Kathy.
Well, Mike is on. Mike, you want to unmute and chime in with us?
Yes, no problem. After you left, Judd, I think they normally say they cancel the August meeting, so
Right.
to get this done in time, it probably wouldn't be done until late September. And then the parking comes back on Washington Street shortly thereafter. So, I mean, if you want to meet, we can meet, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to get this done in time this year to address their concerns. So,
Okay.
Mike, the fact that the barriers are coming up are only really part of our reasoning. The fact that we've discovered the ability to add more parking spaces to the city's inventory is really a kind of a, I think anyway, for a good thing for the city and for us. So regardless of that, right?
yeah, well, absolutely. But what I'm saying, the LOTSIP project, we had gotten comments back. They're pretty easy to address for the LOTSIP. So we probably should have approval to get that done and under construction in the spring. So when that goes under construction, you would lose those spaces anyway. So
Right.
Well, or they'd be rebuilt in a permanent manner. So
in a permanent, that's correct.
Right, and we don't want to put 12, well, we don't even know if the traffic authority would approve it anyway. And even if they did, we don't want to assume 12 when the original conceptual plan has 15.
okay, that makes sense.
All right.
All right.
So this is off
So-
the agenda.
So this is off the agenda, yes.
Okay.
All right, so I have a bit of a chairman's report here. Let me start by saying that I spoke to everybody, but Dick, we didn't get a chance to hook up. We traded phone calls back and forth, but it is my wife's birthday tonight. And so I will be reading the chairman's report and then handing the meeting over to Eric, who he and I have spoken today, and he's going to run through the rest of the meeting. All right. So my chairman's report. Yes,
Also
sir.
going to be leaving when Mike does.
Right. Judd, happy birthday.
Oh, it's your birthday. That's right. I saw that. Happy
Yes, Judd's
birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
So-
Judd.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I wrote my report. Dear all, thank you for entrusting me with the chairmanship of the NPA. As a longstanding member of the Parking Authority, I've seen the commission go through many changes, most of them good and all of them parallel changes with the times. My goal for the Parking Authority in the near future is to bring it back to basics. I feel it is always a good idea when given the chance to step back and review just what the authority is really responsible for and refocus our priorities on exactly what we've been asked to do. I know most of you have heard me say this before, and I'll say it again for the record, but I believe that the parking authority of any major city should be small, quiet, and almost invisible as possible. I don't want to win any awards. I don't want to tout our achievements. I just want to manage parking so that we optimize the retail and restaurant experience and help the small businesses grow and thrive in our city's core. When someone comes to dinner, shop at the town, stays to dance or drink, parking should never be a topic of discussion. You should be able to come in, pay a fair value for your safe and clean parking, and never think about it again. We've done great things to that end. The Park mobile app, text to pay, courtesy cards, as well as helpful constables, and the courtesy car to help motorists in distress. Just to name a few. But if parking is the topic of concern during or even after your experience in Norwalk, then we have failed to do our job. Right now, we are a topic of conversation all over town and at many dinner tables. I believe we need to focus on that and work to remedy our reputation even further and find a way to manage parking in a softer way. The courtesy cards work well, and I'm proud to have started that program and happy it has succeeded in the way it has. More programs like that and a relook at the fees and enforcement is a must. For today, I'd like to put a few more items on the table to make parking more relevant and to provide some topics for discussion moving forward. The first one is a conversation that I had with the mayor about the Sono train station and the Chestnut Street construction. We've been asked to consider bonding a portion of the construction, and we will be losing 60 spaces to the construction project until its completion, at which time we could recover those parking spaces plus more in the new structure that is being built. But this needs discussion, and it needs to be added to the agenda as well. Oh, well, the second thing was the Washington Street spaces, but we covered that already. The third thing is the beach parking. Again, the mayor has asked me to consider preliminary talks about the visitor overflow issue on all of the side streets leading into the beach. And Park and Recreations are going to come to the table with us to discuss the NPA taking over the beach contract, as far as I could tell, probably in the spring when it comes back around. Simple, right? That's what I got. Thank you all again. I appreciate it. And that's my chairman's report. So the next thing that we talk about on the agenda is, and before I leave, I'll take the lead on the South Norwalk Railroad TOD. The plan that they have now shows 60 parking spaces on the eastbound side being absorbed by the Chestnut Street property that Spinnaker wants to develop. And the majority of that is a parking garage. When it is finished, we will be offered back those spaces. Now, I know, taking 60 places away from our incredibly long wait list is a bit of an issue, but I don't know that we can not do that. We're just going to have to deal with that in some way. But once it is finished, I was told we will be offered actually over 100 more spaces to put into our inventory for these commuters. So in the end, it could be a very good thing for us. The discussion, I think, is not so much that, because I don't think we have much choice in that. The discussion is really about the bonding. And since it's the first time this is coming up, I'm happy to open the floor and talk about it. But I think it's a pretty deep topic in terms of our ability. I will tell you another thing that we have involved Laz, or not yet, but there's a meeting coming up with Laz and Brian from the town and the Spinnaker people to discuss Laz getting involved in that so that we wouldn't do the bonding there. And that's actually a pretty interesting option. But I guess I want to open the floor to that and start a conversation. Who's got the first question? Everybody's on mute, so you'll have to hit your button if you want to talk.
Mike, how long are they projecting?
2 years.
2 years, okay.
And when would those spaces be lost initially?
Well, there's a couple different plans. One of them is sort of ASAP. They're working really hard on phase one on the corner there. And the minute they get to the fourth floor of that, they want to start on the other one. So maybe even as early as spring. Another plan, which is the bonding, is going to take much longer because, we've never done anything like that. And I think they know that. Obviously, they know that. So That could take longer. They don't want to wait, though. They really want to push this ahead. So I would say we probably lose them around spring.
Can we get a presentation from Spinnaker or whoever the appropriate group is about the bonding and how it works?
Absolutely.
Why don't we put them on the schedule for September?
Let's try to do that. We'll get somebody in here to give us a little debriefing on what they're thinking. We did
Well-
see a sheet on them, right?
Yeah, but not
It's
only,
old. That was an old one. Go ahead.
not only on the bonding, but just on the project in general, where they're at. These
Okay.
spaces, the schedule.
Okay.
Who would you
I'll-
bring, Kath? Mike or Matt?
I don't know. Let me follow up.
Okay. Okay. All right. Wait, that's an action point. All right. So you're gonna,
I'll take care of that.
okay. So we'll put that on the agenda for September to learn more about it, Tom.
Okay.
Anybody else? Excellent. All right. So financial operations, capital budget update, other business. Eric, it's all yours. I'm gonna go take my wife to dinner. Thank you all again. I appreciate your work.
Sounds good, Mike. Have a great time.
All right.
Happy
I'll talk to
birthday.
you
Bye.
later.
Happy
Bye.
birthday,
Bye,
Beth.
guys.
I'll tell
Happy
her.
birthday.
Happy birthday to your wife, Mike.
Thank you. I'll tell her. All right.
Val,
Happy
you too.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Judd, too.
Yeah. Okay, so Stati, you want to jump into the financial report?
In the apps report, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that to me?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I need to share it or can we just talk about it?
I'm
Yeah.
fine talking about it. It's series of numbers.
Yeah. So this month closed out the fiscal year. The bad news for the month is that we were in the red, but the good news is we were much better than we had projected. This whole pandemic and all the forecasting. As far as the revenues go, compared to budget, we were off a little over 50%.
Staff, we're losing you. You're like choppy. I don't know why.
I don't have a very good signal, probably.
Kathy, try turning your video off.
Turn my video off?
Try
Yeah,
that.
maybe.
Sometimes that helps.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Is that a little better?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it is too.
If I have to, I can do it from my phone.
Oh, it's definitely better.
No,
Oh,
it's
you're
better.
good now.
That's a lot better. And he looked better too.
I look better.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tom.
my pleasure.
So again, the bad news for the month was in the
No.
red.
You know what, Staff, you're gonna have to go on your phone. You're choppy.
Okay. All right, let me go on to my phone. Can you move to the next item and I'll move locations because I'm not what I usually.
Yeah, it can be
Yeah.
Vanessa. Is that
Yeah,
all right,
so-
Eric?
Vanessa, can you jump in the capital budget update?
Just trying to find my page here, so.
I think you just want to really highlight the green infrastructure, but you can
Sure.
through the, and Mike's here too, if you need that,
So again, there's not really many construction going on. We completed most of the projects. I think that I never report, but we also finalized the Yankee Doodle guardrail installation and the on-call engineering. We are still waiting for the contract to be executed. So after that, we're gonna start having some of the work coming. Now what we're really putting more of the effort is on the Webster parking lot green infrastructure improvements. So Fazonil has submitted the Quality Assurance Project Plan, QAPP or QAP, to the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. And there were a couple of comments that they sent back last week. Fazonil review, sent back to them. And now we're just waiting for a sign off. Unfortunately, we have no idea about the timeline. We're hoping that we can get an answer in 2 weeks, but sometimes it can take about a month and a half. So we're still targeting the work to maybe be completed by late spring of next year, but it will depend as soon as we get the green light to go ahead. So this is pretty much what I have to report for now. Do you guys have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you. Does anybody else have questions? Thank you. So, Stati, are you back? I see your name.
Yep.
No.
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, good. Oh, yeah, much better. Listen to that. Wow.
Okay, that's my phone. I'll start from the top again. So the bad news was that for the month of March, for the month of June, as we know, we were still in the red as we're coming out of this pandemic and all the reopenings. But I think the good news is that for the year, we were only off about 23% on revenue compared to budget, and compared to last year, it was only down 21%. And if you remember too, when we did the all that reforecasting, and we were looking through different scenarios, we had forecasted that we'd be, about 25% of demands from last year, and we finished up June at 38%. And July is looking even better, and we're at 45% now, but we estimate about 40%. Rocky, you can jump in on some of that as well. But so I think next month we would expect that we would be in the black and have turned the corner, hopefully. So so looking forward to the first month of the next fiscal year. On the expense side, as you know, we've reduced expenses, deferred expenses, did whatever we needed to help with the situation. That was down almost 36%. And it's favorable to budget compared to last year and the previous year as well, or favorable to budget for this fiscal year and compared to last year. I mentioned that demands were off only 20% compared to last year. So that's, I think, a good sign, considering that, for 2 months, everything was basically free. We still have strong percentage of revenues that are from credit cards, over 80%. Our pay by sell activity is still strong, even though we had that kind of temporary layoff. The average transaction is $2.72 for the month. And considering that we had those 2 months of no fees that were being charged, the number of transactions compared to last year is only down less than 2%, 1.8%, and revenues only off 14.6% compared to last year. So even considering all that, as a percent of system activity, transactions are almost 15%, and revenues almost 11%. So I think those are all good signs, considering the market circumstances. On the enforcement side, compared issuance of citations, and if you remember too, over the last few months, we were only issuing life safety citations and not typical parking violations. And issuance is down compared to last year, over 7%. That's including the beaches and Oyster Shell Park. But if you take that out, we're down almost 23% if you factor out the beaches. The customer courtesy program, as you know, we ramped up. The number I have in front of me is off, but Rocky, do you have that number in front of you? think I have the wrong number here. Well, until he gets that, the biggest issues we were dealing with, as everybody knows, is really how we were handling the pandemic and the shutdown. We're still doing all the cleaning and disinfecting protocols. We are, starting to see more activity. Mike had mentioned the text to park, and that, although that just got started, we're seeing some great usage there. So I think we're starting to see a trend of, and we're going to see that continuing, of more people starting to use touchless, contactless parking payments. So I guess the silver lining in all of this is that we'll move more people to kind of a cashless operation. So that's all I have. I'll keep looking for the
I have the courtesy card.
At it, Rack?
Yes, I have it. Yeah. For the month of June, we have 18 days that we picked as a courtesy card dates, and year to date it's 173 courtesy card dates that we picked up. For the month of June by itself, 723 courtesy cards were given, and year to date the total is 8,067. For the courtesy cards that were given, vehicles that were given a courtesy card and got a ticket as after the courtesy card was 106, and a total courtesy card value for the month was 15,425 for the month of June, and then the total year to date is 184,650 worth of value.
Thanks, Rock. And the other thing too is just talking to the girls today in the office, the online reservations that we introduced into Maritime Garage and the railroad station is seeing a lot more activity too, which is another good sign.
I have an update on that one as well, Moose.
Oh, please give it to us.
Yes, for Maritime Garage, for the month of in June, the number we reported for the month of July until yesterday, there were 69 online reservations, and for text to park and other facilities like on street and all the rest of them, 561 text to park transactions. So the online reservation at the Maritime Garage and the text to park is picking up, and as South Norwalk transactions start picking up, we also expect the online reservation to go up as well.
Thanks, Rocky. So that's all I have for our report, unless there's some questions.
All right, thank you, Stati. So we've already covered the other. Is there other business we need to discuss? If there's not, the last line on the agenda is that our next meeting is September 23rd, and that there's no meeting in August. So with that, can we have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Tom, any second? Take a second. So
I'll make the motion too.
Thank you. All right, so we'll adjourn the meeting and pick it up in September.
Very good.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Have a good
Okay.
night.
Night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Night.